This is Logan with Legal Technology Solutions, and today we'll be talking about password management. So I think we can all agree that passwords are crucial to our security. And you may not know, but last year, new advice was released by the National Institute of Standards and Technology and Microsoft. My recommendations throughout this video are based on these standards and many more that exist. So to begin, how do we create a safe password? Well, first, we have to replace the words strong and complex with unique and memorable. Now, there was a time back in the 90s and early 2000s when everyone wanted strong and complex passwords, and that's carried throughout today. But it's more important to have unique passwords that are incredibly memorable and easy for the user. We also need to understand that all password structures have vulnerabilities. And while a lot of methods exist, here are two of my favorites. First, the passphrase method, which is a series of either random words or even a sentence. For example, nose bird brings, or today I choose to be happy, without spaces. The second is the passphrase initialism. It's like an acronym. So when you look at this password provided to the right, it has a series of random letters and numbers with a period at the end. But to me, the user who created this password, it says, my Volkswagen broke down in 1995, so I walked home, period. Now to me, because it's both unique and memorable, it's a really strong password. Now I'd like to talk to you about password policies. The first tip is to eliminate computer password policies because these help hackers. The only password policy I recommend my clients keeping is ensuring that passwords are at least 8 characters long. But there should be no more composition rules. Stop making passwords unnecessarily complicated, because adding an exclamation mark to the end of a password or making the first letter of a password a capital does not make it more secure. Try not to use a password template, and this usually applies to businesses. Do not store passwords in an unencrypted document or spreadsheet. And stop having password expirations without a reason. Some conditions to reset a password include forgetting it, thinking it's stolen, assuming it may have been phished, or any other reason to believe it may have been compromised. Now also, if you've shared the passwords, you should consider changing them, and I recommend you change them annually no matter what. Next, we'll be talking about individual passwords. Make your password at least 8 characters long. For extra security, for really important passwords, make them 15 to 30 characters. Until we hit that 15 to 20 character mark, we're not actually increasing the security. For example, a password that's 8 characters long or 12 characters long has approximately the same amount of security when it comes to the length alone. No repeating the same password twice. And what I mean is, typing your password in 2 times to make it twice as long does not make it twice as secure. In fact, it doesn't affect the security at all because that's one of the first things that a hacker will try if you recently changed your password. Don't use any silly passwords such as winter 2017 bang or change me 123 or my password. Don't use any knowledge-based authentication. Now we all know that for the most part, our banks require this. And while I hope this requirement changes in the future, until it does, I recommend providing false information that you will never forget. For example, my mascot when I was in high school was the Trojan. But if my bank asks me what my high school mascot was, I will always say the Bulldogs. No more password hints. Make your password easy to remember, but hard to guess. For example, blue dice in my 78 Rock Wagon. I have no idea what this means, but I will never forget that there's blue dice in my 78 Rock Wagon, and I bet you'll never guess it. You can also turn this into initialism to make it faster to type. Blue dice in my 78 Rock Wagon. But don't have passwords like LogMeInNow 2016. Even though this is longer than the password just above it, It actually is extremely unsecure. Don't use your email or Facebook passwords for things like work computers or bank accounts, but use the same password for all low-level accounts. That means your Twitter account, your Facebook account, or anything else that's incredibly low level, which means you don't use it for work and it doesn't have access to sensitive information, should all have the same easy to type password. But when you create your passwords, don't use life facts. What I mean is, just because your daughter was born in 2001 and you're extremely happy about that, does not mean it should be your password. Now, some other password recommendations include two-factor authentication. Now, this is usually just a simple text, phone call, or notification you get if you log into one of your accounts. Another is biometric passwords, which includes fingerprint scanners, face prints, or handwriting. And lastly, use a password manager, like LastPass. Now, I'll admit this isn't the best solution for everybody, but for people who have trouble managing their passwords, it can be really amazing because it allows you to create one strong, long password that you'll use to access all of the rest of your passwords. And all of those other passwords you access, you can auto-generate to make them incredibly complex. What that means is every single account you use will have a unique password, and the only way to access those is through one password that is going to be both unique, memorable, and incredibly difficult for somebody else to guess. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you understand a little bit more about password management. If you have any questions, you can email cyber@Legal Technology Solutions, or you can call us at 480-614-4227 extension 1.